Good morning, Copers. Good morning. How are you guys doing? It is Thursday, July 9th, 2026. Nice weather outside today in Washington. Sunny. I can hear Allison and the kids outside playing, having a good time. And I'm up here with you guys. And I couldn't be more thrilled. What's up? Richard Spencer is pissed. Oh, about Graham Plattner. Yeah, I'm not really going to cover the Graham Plattner stuff. It doesn't really interest me, but I think that it's probably a bullshit Me Too allegation, obviously. I'll just say that. I'll just say he's another liberal hoisted by his own petard, basically. That's what you get for thinking people should listen to women. Let me guess, you think we should listen to women? Okay, well, enjoy. Enjoy. You made your bed, now sleep in it. What's up? There's a funny message about how my cousin performed House of the Rising Sun right before getting arrested for smuggling cigarettes. I thought that was really funny. That's the kind of stuff I'm here for. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's get into the show. Jamie Carney, an American woman, was murdered in Ireland, in Killarney, by her Muslim boyfriend. I don't know exactly where he's from. Pakistan, Palestine, whatever. This is a story making its rounds today because she was a very pro-Palestine activist, went to lots of protests, free Palestine from the river to the sea, dated a brown Muslim guy who murdered her and apparently has now fled Ireland. People are speculating. The police are looking for him. The police, as of the last time I checked, cannot find this guy. And people think he might have fled back to, whatever Durkistan he came from. Here's a little tribute video. You see her at all these protests. Children, I believe not with him, but she was like a single mom. I don't know the race of the children or anything like that. But all I know is it would be great if the far right could please stop weaponizing the relentless deluge. The unceasing, relentless deluge of events that affirm their worldview. Could you please stop taking every opportunity to weaponize that and say, see, I told you so? Also, I think I speak for everybody when I say now we don't have to pretend to care about Palestine anymore, and that's a relief. I know everybody's like toll paid and all that, and I get that, and yes, that's true, but let's not also not pretend like her life wasn't worth more than the entirety of Gaza. You know what I mean? What white people in Gaza notwithstanding or withstanding, however that expression works. You know what I'm trying to say? You know what I'm trying to say is like, yeah, I was against the genocide on basic moral principle, but now that you've killed one of ours, fuck you. That's what I'm trying to say. Now look at how the media writes about this. Jamie Carney remembered as devoted mother as Killarney comes to terms with tragedy. Now the police are looking for the guy, but they have not released a description of him. And it's the same in the media here. They say teenage girls and women fighting tears brought bouquets of flowers to the Killarney home where the body of James Carney was found on Tuesday. Gardaí, that's Irish police, maintained a cordon across the Homeland housing development where she lived with her 13-year-old daughter. A social media post from September shows her celebrating getting the keys to that house. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. It was the same room where her body would be found just months later, badly injured and covered in her own bed sheets. Miss Carney suffered serious head injuries in what appears to have been an assault in the house. So he beat her to death by bashing her head in. The results of an autopsy, which has taken place at University Hospital Kerry, will not be released for operational reasons. They've upgraded the investigation to a murder inquiry. Okay, here's the part. Here's the lead that's buried that I wanted to read. Gardaí are searching for a man who was known to Miss Carney, whom they wish to speak to in connection with her death. Ireland's ports and airports were placed on high alert for the man amid fears he may try to flee the country. The man Gardaí are searching for is in his late 20s or early 30s. So there's your description. Nothing else noteworthy about that. He is a man, late 20s, early 30s. Nothing else you want to say about him? Nothing about his skin tone? So they intentional. It's this incredible paradox where it's like we are searching for this guy, but also we are not going to say who he is because it's politically incorrect. And we wouldn't want to inflame racial tensions by telling you that a white woman got murdered by a brown guy. An argument had been overheard in Miss Carney's rented home, a large detached house, the night before her body was found. She was born in New York and had Irish ancestry. She campaigned for Palestinian rights and was involved in sports locally. So, if you've seen any men age 20 to 30, be on the lookout for a 20 to 30-year-old man. And if you see such a person, it's like, they have pictures of this fucking guy. You know what I mean? Like they could be like, this is what he looks like. We are looking for this guy. He is wanted for murder. He is wanted for the crime of murder. But because he's brown, they don't post his picture and they say, we're looking for a guy in his 20s. If you see someone like that, let us know. It's like you have pictures of him. Connor Murphy, fitness influencer, has died of drowning in Thailand at the age of 32. Local news media reports he went on a rampage, painting the interior of luxury rental apartment, rolled around on asphalt, and then walked into a lake. Now I heard a different report. This was the first tweet I saw about this, so I bookmarked it. But I've since seen like a different report where he was like running from the police and he ran into the lake because the police were and then he just swam and he just swam and swam and swam until he drowned. Just like swam in a straight line to get away from the cops until he drowned. Now, I am not super familiar with this guy. I have not followed him super closely. There was this Turkey Tom video about him a year ago that I watched a little bit when it came out. The title is The Schizo Fitness Prankster Who Tried Starting a Cult. And you can see on the thumbnail it says, claims to be God, starves himself, drinks pee, eats poop, beats his girl. So I started watching this and then I stopped watching it because it wasn't really clear how serious he was. And I think a lot of people felt this way about Connor Murphy, that they didn't know how much of it was acting out for social media, for views and clicks, and how much of it was him actually being insane. And I guess now it turns out he actually probably was insane. The narrative is that he got one-shotted by ayahuasca. And I don't know exactly how true that is. I don't know exactly how much his mental illness has to do with psychedelics, but that's That's something people like to say about this. They like to say it's like a cautionary tale about psychedelics. Here, this is on TMZ. Looks Maxer Connor Murphy's eerie final posts. One captioned obituary pending. One other thing I'll say about this guy is that he previously faked his own death. Back in like 2020, he faked his own death. But this, no, I don't know who Tony Huge is. Never heard of him. This death appears to be real. It's been reported by the police and the media, so this seems totally legit. And in all likelihood, he is dead. But here's one of his final posts before dying.
I'm absorbing the spirit of Elon. Thank you, Elon, for your sacrifice.
There's a lot of meth in Thailand, you say?
Elon, I will become
Yeah, the jawline.
the most famous guitar player in
Bone
the world.
smashing.
Just for you. You motherfuckers have it. You motherfuckers have an unhealthy relationship with death.
Personally, I try to avoid it. Oh, sorry, not to make light of a tragic situation, but I do personally make some effort to avoid it. You know, comes for us all eventually, but no rush. That's my philosophy. He just snorts a huge line. You guys have an unhealthy relationship with death. This is like, I think, an older video from ayahuasca. This video is from years ago. So this, according to the community note, this is a video he recorded when taking ayahuasca, which is why a lot of people say he's like the classic example of the one-shotted land shark meme.
I'm just trying to remind myself because I'm really high. Oh, it's getting weird. Oh. I feel like I'm dying every second.
Yeah, maybe I should. Maybe a little toot's not the best idea.
So I'm just making this video so I can like watch it and remind myself. Fuck. Pinch myself. Am I dreaming? Is it real? Okay. Just filming.
I will say, full disclosure, I did a fuck ton of psychedelics when I was in high school. When I was like age 17 to 20, I consumed copious amounts of LSD and magic mushrooms, psilocybin. Basically just those two. But I mean copious. I mean, like, I probably did each of those like 100 different times. And I turned out fine. So I'm just saying. I don't know how hard that's true. I don't recommend it. I don't encourage it. I wouldn't, you don't do it if you want my, as somebody who's experienced, I wouldn't advise it. But, you know, I'm not insane, at least.
This for me. Okay. Just the camera roll. Don't post this.
Yeah, I know. That's Appalachia. That's how I feel, too, when I watch stuff like this. It's like, oh, God, I can't believe I used to do stuff like this. Thank God there was no social media when I was a teenager.
Okay. Reminder. Connor, reminder. Don't post this one.
So The other thing I'll say about this, because I wasn't really into this whole scene, I don't have much to say about it, but I've seen a lot of people, a lot of influencers posting like tributes about him. Brandon Buckingham, people who knew him IRL said that he was like a very nice, friendly, genuine guy. So I don't want to like shit on the guy and like laugh at it too much, because apparently he was like a cool guy. But I don't know. Let's watch. We'll watch a little bit of this androgenic video. By the way, this guy looks fucking weird too. He's got the eyeliner and the wig.
Hey guys,
It's kind of unsettling looking.
as Conor Murphy's
Just the eyeliner isn't helping with the Troon allegations. You know what I mean? When people say looks maxing is trooning, you're not beating those allegations by wearing eyeliner.
close friend, I want to give my input on who Conor was, what happened to cause his death, and everything surrounding all of that. So first off, who was Conor Murphy and why was I so drawn to him? Well, I grew up very timid, reserved, very avoidant. I didn't have any woman show interest in me until I was 19. Literally not a single one. And this still was a huge problem for me after I'd partially ascended. And I was still, extremely avoidant. And I essentially had an abused dog mentality. And I saw Conor go through his whole ayahuasca insane period in 2020. And everyone was just calling him crazy, saying, essentially that there's no credence to anything that he's doing and he's just completely insane. But then I looked into his videos and what exactly he'd gone through, and a lot of it he claimed was acting. I think some was. I think some was probably a little bit of post hoc rationalization and he was actually somewhat crazy. But he did have a lot of good insights. Like, the average person at the end of the day is not fulfilled. The average person is terrified of what other people think of them. The average person is avoidant. The average person doesn't ever actualize their dreams.
This is a thing that keeps coming up, and I keep having the same reaction, which is that like your insights kind of are secondary to like the pragmatic result of your life. You know what I mean? And I there's so many of the philosophers, I've made this point before, but so many like famous philosophers, their lives were shit. And to me, I look at that and I'm just like, you know what? Maybe I don't need your insights. You know what has really good insights? The Bible. You know who has really good insights? God. If you just follow the Bible, you're gonna have like your best shot at good results in life. So when people say like most people aren't fulfilled, it's like that sounds really deep, and like, yeah, we all know there's truth to that. Everybody's kind of miserable in modernity. But like, what is the solution? Go take ayahuasca. You know what I mean? What is the solution? The solution is to, you know what I mean? Jordan Peterson, for all of his foils, was closer on this than Conor Murphy, from what little I know, because the solution is to take on responsibility. You want to be fulfilled? Take on responsibility. Have some children. That's a really good way of taking on responsibility.
The average person unfortunately loses in life. And Conor Murphy had dissolved his ego enough to be honest with himself and actually realize this, right? Because at the end of the day, most people are unhappy and they lie to themselves until they die.